The most threatened island on the planet, built an invisible monopoly that controls the fate of the global economy. It all started with a frustrated engineer and $45 million. 1987, a modest research campus in Hsinchu, Taiwan. Morris Chang lit his ever-present pipe while reviewing a plan that looked like a financial black hole. At 55, after a lifetime climbing the ranks at Texas Instruments, the Taiwanese government had given him a mission: create a tech industry from scratch on an island known only for exporting cheap plastic toys. Welcome to Plexo. Back then, chips were a business for giants. Companies like Intel designed their own circuits and spent fortunes building the factories to produce them. It was an exclusive club, walled off by colossal barriers. But Chang spotted a crack. He noticed that more and more brilliant engineers had revolutionary ideas, but lacked the hundreds of millions needed to manufacture them. His proposal was radical. He founded TSMC with an initial investment from the Taiwanese state and Dutch Philips. Sources put the figure between $43 million and $100 million, depending on accounting standards. The model was unprecedented. TSMC wouldn't design a single chip, it would exclusively manufacture other companies' designs. At first, the industry laughed. While American executives toasted in fancy boardrooms, Chang worked in a damp factory where silicon wafer boxes were stacked next to old farm tractors. But Chang, wrapped in pipe smoke and with a cold stare that intimidated his subordinates, knew something they couldn't yet see: the person who manufactures for everyone ends up controlling everyone. Chang's model sparked a silent revolution. By outsourcing manufacturing, TSMC enabled the birth of Fabless companies. Suddenly, two engineers in a Silicon Valley garage could design a brilliant microprocessor, mail it to Taiwan, and weeks later receive millions of packaged units ready to sell. It was the spark that ignited the boom of modern technology. Companies like Nvidia, Qualcomm, and later Apple itself grew thanks to this symbiosis. They provided the brain, TSMC provided the muscle. While the Western world celebrated software geniuses, Taiwan perfected the alchemy of the physical. Manufacturing an advanced chip is, statistically, the most complex manufacturing process in human history. It requires printing billions of microscopic transistors on a pizza-sized wafer. Any dust particle or seismic vibration ruins the entire batch. To guarantee perfection, the discipline Chang imposed was military. When an earthquake hit the island in 1999, TSMC engineers didn't run to protect their families. In the dead of night, hundreds of technicians in white cleanroom suits walked through hallways of broken glass to stabilize the machines before the fragile silicon could be contaminated. It wasn't corporate devotion, it was national survival turned into habit. This obsession with performance allowed TSMC to surpass the former kings of hardware. By 2020, Intel and Samsung had fallen behind. Taiwan was no longer just a supplier, it had become the funnel through which all human progress had to pass. A funnel with a single owner. Taiwan's absolute dominance isn't just about discipline, it's about controlling light. To make the chips that power AI or ballistic missiles, TSMC uses extreme ultraviolet lithography machines built by the Dutch company ASML. Here's the real scale of the empire. Each machine costs around $380 million. They're 150-ton behemoths the size of a school bus, firing high-power lasers at 50,000 molten tin droplets per second, all inside a perfect vacuum. This microscopic violence generates light capable of carving circuits just a few atoms wide. Running these monsters takes a brutal energy toll. In 2023, TSMC's fabs consumed nearly 25,000 gigawatt-hours, gobbling up 8% of Taiwan's entire electricity. While Taiwanese households saved power, the silicon furnaces ran day and night, pumping wealth into the island but pushing its electrical grid to the limit. This tech monopoly created what military strategists called a silicon shield. Taiwan produces over 60% of the world's chips and nearly 90% of the most advanced ones. If a foreign power invaded and TSMC's fabs shut down, the global economy would collapse within weeks. Phones would stop being made, stock markets would crash, and armies would go blind. The paradox is perfect. The island secured its survival by becoming too valuable for anyone to dare destroy, including its biggest enemies. This total dependence terrified Western governments. During the pandemic, the critical semiconductor shortage paralyzed auto plants from Detroit to Stuttgart, proving to the whole world that whoever controls Taiwan controls the arteries of modern trade. In response, the US passed the CHIPS Act, a package of over $52 billion designed to bring manufacturing back home. Pressured by Washington, TSMC agreed to build massive facilities in Arizona. It looked like a geopolitical win, but soon ran into the hard reality of engineering. Morris Chang, now retired but still hugely influential, called the American effort a futile and excessively expensive exercise. The facts proved him right. Construction in Arizona became a swamp of cost overruns and delays, $40 billion steel skeletons rusting in the desert sun, stalled by a shortage of skilled technicians and union strikes. The problem wasn't money, it was culture. In Taiwan, TSMC operates with armies of engineers with master's degrees, willing to work night shifts and get called at dawn if a machine breaks down. Their suppliers are less than an hour away by high-speed rail. That hyper-connected ecosystem, forged over 4 decades of national survival, can't be packaged and shipped to a desert on the other side of the Pacific. Money can buy Dutch machines. What it can't buy is the conviction of a workforce that feels every morning like they're defending their country's existence. Today, Taiwan is trapped in the very web it meticulously wove to protect itself. The Silicon Shield has deterred military attacks for years, turning the fear of a global economic collapse into the best guarantee of peace. But as artificial intelligence demands ever more powerful chips, the world's dependence is becoming unsustainable at a speed no government anticipated. The island has gone from being ignored to becoming the most coveted trophy on the geopolitical board. China claims the territory as its own and keeps a close eye on the Hsinchu factories, while the United States sends warships to the strait to ensure supply lines aren't cut. Off Taiwan's coast, local fishermen haul in their nets under the shadow of American destroyers. On the horizon, silhouettes of Chinese fighter jets patrol the sky. Daily life and geopolitics share the same horizon. TSMC keeps pushing forward, indifferent to the noise of cannons. The company began mass production of 2-nanometer chips in the fourth quarter of 2025, pushing the limits of quantum physics and ensuring no other nation can catch up anytime soon. Morris Chang, the engineer who lit his pipe in a dusty Hsinchu office, pulled off his miracle. He turned a vulnerable island into the beating heart of the digital age. Absolute success comes with a price. Concentrating the world's technological power in a seismically active and politically explosive zone is a tension that history rarely tolerates for long. Taiwan didn't protect itself with a shield, it built a silicon cage, where the whole world is the hostage, and the jailer sleeps on a fault line.